Hey y'all, welcome to Conversation Series with an Art Expert by Kalagrantha team. Today we have Vishwakiran Nambi with us.
Hi, this is Vishwakiran Nambi here. I'm a choreographer, a dance filmmaker, founder of Loka Studio for Movement Practices, and director of Vishwakiran Nambi Dance Company.
How are arts and artists valued around the world? Is it same in India?
See, the current comparison is one thing, but you have to understand that historically we have been a very culturally and artistically active nation. We've had a huge range of people and leaders who've dedicated their lives towards developing and progressing art and music or sculptures or painting or even dance. We've been that kind of a culture. But somewhere along the way, I feel survival became so important. We became a very economically driven uh, culture, and to make art or to involve or include art in that pursuit became very difficult, and to find financial success in art became difficult, and that's where I feel art somehow taken somewhat of a back step. I feel the exploration in art is more or less on par with whatever is happening around the world. I think we have our own traditional setup, and we are constantly thinking about uh, how to find modern expression for these for these traditions, and I feel in terms of exploration, in terms of progression, we are going forwards, and that is something that we all should be proud of. But I also feel at the same time that we the biggest problem and the biggest drawback for us is as artists is funding. I feel it's the state involvement in funding the arts, and that is something that has really been like a speed breaker, like a barricade for us to, uh, you know, invest in exploring our art and expanding our art as well. So I feel valued is something that is very debatable, but because we're not undervalued here, if I can tell, but I feel there needs to be a much uh, bigger approach towards how to help the arts and how to collectively, you know, contribute towards developing arts. I think that's more or less the question.
How do you feel as a founder and director of a company?
Well, to give you a brief about what Loka and Vndc are about. Uh, well, Loka as a studio, as a physical space, um, has many roles. It was actually a response. It was an idea which was in response to uh, the lack of facilities that I encountered personally when I started to work by myself. And I as an independent artist wanted a space where I could go and create my art, where I can ideate it, where I can spend time and I can watch it, harvest into something meaningful. And the lack of it really triggered the idea of Loka. And now it's a physical space where I'd want young dancers, and not just young dancers who want to explore their art, who want to develop their ideas and choreographies, or even their technical capacities, to come together and work with different teachers, different choreographers, and invest in creative possibilities as well. So and that's what Loka is. It's a space where you train in technique, but also explore your creative uh, creative side. And it should all come at it shouldn't come at a cost. This is what it was about. It was about making it available for everyone and making it financially accessible for everybody. And that's what it was about. Because, well, it all goes back to a place where, how financially accessible art is, how economical art is, and how it is valued that way. And because of those kind of problems, I wanted to make sure that there is a space, and then there are mentors, and then there are collaborators available for young and established artists to just come together and start creating their work, or start investing in their art. And that's what Loka was about, and that's what it is. And hopefully we will be expanding uh, substantially with that idea as a background. And what Vndc, which is the company, is about is, well, I've always wanted to find, and it's not just me, I feel it's not a very new and unique thought, but dance has always been part of a movement. It's been a tool against, it's a tool, a medium in which people have expressed themselves, uh, their opinions, their socio-political opinions, their personal opinions. And I wanted to do that through my dance, where I wanted to talk or present uh, certain opinions, certain feelings, certain thoughts about everything around me through dance, or through dance as a medium. And that's where this team, this company came into place, where we are talking about very culturally relevant subjects through traditional dances, through folk and tribal dances, and through contemporary dance, through other visual mediums, and just finding different ways to express yourself to a rather very, very intelligent and very modern audience. And that's what BNDC is about. We're collectively coming together to do that. And I'm very happy that we are able to do that. We were able to do that, and we will continue to do that. And we have seen success in international platforms and national platforms. And for a very young company, I think it's seen some success in people recognizing it as someone who's doing progressive dancing. And that is something that makes me very happy and proud of my team. And hopefully we continue on that path, and continue our explorations. And yeah, and that's what I'm very happy about.
How did your journey start in the dance industry?
Well, I have been dancing all my life. From what I remember, I used to dance in school. a lot in the small events and functions in school. I used to always be part of that, and well, I was considered a good dancer in school, and but I've been playing a lot of cricket all my life, and that's what I wanted to become, a cricketer. And I suppose that athleticism really helped me in college as well. And I was part of the college dance team in both pre-university and in degree as well. And I got introduced to a dance company in Bangalore, and immediately after college, I decided to take that step to pursue dance, even though it was extremely challenging financially. It's something that really, grabbed my, not just my attention, but I really wanted to do it. It's something that gave me meaning, and it felt right to do it. And even though there were several other opportunities in the corporate fields, I really wanted to explore dance, and I felt very happy when I was in a studio, and also the open space of a studio really was all I wanted. And yeah, for over a decade, I was with Nritarutya dance company, and straight out of college, I joined them. And for the last 3.5, 4 years, I've been exploring my own art in whatever ways I can, and yeah, that's how long it's been.
When did your dancing career got to a next level? How did the breakthrough happen?
Well, see, for me, I think I can recollect a couple of different times that really elevated, or just pushed me into a very new space. Firstly, when I performed my first solo uh, piece back in, I don't know what, 2007, no, 2014, I think 2014. uh, I think, I mean, that was my first serious solo work called Trishanku. I think when I did that, that really gave me the opportunity to explore my own artistry and explore my own capacities as a performer, as a dancer, and also as a choreographer to an extent, though I wasn't the principal choreographer of that piece. And that really gave me a lot of sense of purpose and direction, and focus towards what I wanted to do. And that was one such thing. And post that, I've created my own solo repertory of over an hour long, and I performed that in several places several times. And that really triggered a lot of events post that. And another very significant phase of my dance career has been when I started to choreograph for films, and through a very small short film called. Another an important phase of my dancing career happened when I started to choreograph for films. It started with this music video called Neeye, and that really started to it opened the doors for several other opportunities to choreograph for regional films in Telugu and in Tamil and in Kannada, and eventually it really uh, you know stirred up that passion that I've always had to create dance for films, in films. And that's one of the primary things I do now, which is conceptualize and direct dance films, which has also led to my directorial debut called Kitchen, which will be releasing in a few months. And yeah, I mean, I can recollect these two as a major, impactful moments of my short span of dance career.
What motivates you at making a work?
Just about everything. Uh, the power lines to a flower vendor to the bus stop to the mall uh, to an auto to people to systems to agriculture to ecology. Just about everything inspires me uh, to create something. It has everything has an impact on me, and I really choose how to accommodate time to create these things. That's all. Otherwise, I create a dance about just about everything, and that's how fascinated I am about life and everything that's around me. And I don't go around looking for inspiration. I think I've done that in the past, and it's a good thing that I started choreographing when I was really young, and so my processes of creating dance has really evolved over the years, and somewhere over that time I evolved into this person firstly, and then the choreographer who's constantly inspired by everything around you, and things that make you feel happy and mad and sad. uh, they're all fantastic motivators to express through movement and dance. And also, I don't only work with dance as a medium, I work with several mediums, to photography, to painting, to illustration, to music, to installation of it, pretty much everything. So I uh, don't choose things that can only be expressed through movement. So yeah, and I feel very emotionally towards all of these things, like towards everything that's around me. I'm somehow emotionally connected with all of them. And though I'm not very expressive about it to people, I am very connected to everything. And that really constantly makes me think about how I can express this relationship I have with this thing or this person or this situation or this system uh, through dance, through movement, and that's a very constant process. And yeah, that's more or less the answer to that. Pretty much everything inspires me.
Have you come across politics in the industry?
Politics. Well, for most part of my career, I was part of a company and they were very protective of me in the company. So I have been shielded from these discriminatory elements that exist. Uh, Although I think it exists less here than maybe in the other industries because I don't openly see it or experience it to that extent. I know it exists a little bit, uh, but what I can tell you is from a little bit of experience that if your work is very good and if you're very honest and if you're very hardworking and then and you're doing very relevant and very meaningful work, um, I don't think the any kind of politics within this very small industry is going to really push you down that much. And that's something that is a positive thing, more or less, for me, and something that I have personally experienced. And I know that the 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 set of senior artists right now and the established artists right now have come up the hard way. They've really invested time, they've worked very, very hard to become what they've become, and I don't think any kind of forces have really pushed them down, and even if they did, they only come out stronger. And that I really believe in, and that's what I think is the situation right now.
How do you manage when things get harder?
Well, I feel and I found that for most part of my dancing career things have been tough. When I say It's been tough financially, it's been tough on your body, it's been tough socially, so one thing that keeps you motivated is your personal connection with what you do, and if you find that, and then if you find that meaning, and if you find that relationship, I don't think any amount of pressure or any amount of hardship you wouldn't go through, you wouldn't win over. And that's what it's been. I have had very tough uh, financial positions for in this long time spent in dance, and very tough moments in so many other areas and so many other uh, ways. But the one thing that has coped me, the one thing that's pushed me forward has been, whenever I wake up in the morning, I'm very joyful. I feel what I'm doing is very meaningful. I don't feel regret when I wake up, and that has been the one factor that really says, you're doing the right thing. So just once you have that, I think whatever comes your way, I think you'll find ways to tackle it. Unless, I don't think there's anything that you can't handle once you have that kind of a relationship with what you do and that kind of belief in what you do. And yes, that's what's been a driving factor for me.
What are the momentary changes to do as artist to survive the crisis situation? It could be learning new skills or unlearning previous habits.
It's been tough. Uh, you know, it's been tough financially. It's been tough emotionally, and 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 to have that kind of a creative drive in a position like this is extremely difficult. To continue having that drive, to be creatively available, um, but I feel one thing that we do have is time, and I think on a very positive note, I really feel we should use this time very intelligently. We should, in learning, in developing our artistry, in probably unlearning a few skills, and becoming a little more active in certain areas of our lives that we otherwise don't find time to. Having said all that, I feel one way to tackle a small aspect of this problem, which is the finance aspect. Maybe you learn how to handle technology, and then maybe find people who would want to want to access your services through online and things like that. But I feel the emotional impact that it has had on you, it's something that you need to handle it with a lot of care, and not and somehow find a positive narrative to hang on to, and then and not look at everything to be doom and gloom. And there, it's a tough time now. The time will end, and what I would suggest is to hold on to your inspirations, to hold on to your drive, to keep watering it every day whilst you're managing and surviving all of this, and not forget that side of you, because once that there is we have to understand that dance is a very physical form, and dance doesn't happen if people stop coming together. And I have been holding online creative sessions with my team, and you create independent, in these boxes, they're just creating work, but it's not even 10% of what you would feel when you're creating something in a studio. I know everybody agrees with that, but these times will change. Just stay as inspired as you were 3 or 4 months ago, and wait for that moment when everything clears up and you will be free again. Uh, and meanwhile continue learning, continue investing in progressing your own capacities as a performer or as a teacher or as a uh, as a choreographer, and that's the best we could do. Hope, I suppose. And I also feel it's not just the artist's responsibility to handle this situation. It's sometimes seen that there isn't much economic gains in investing in art, and hence it can be neglected. And I find that kind of thinking quite unintelligent. And you take a smartphone for that matter. You have a smartphone because art collaborated with technology, and there is no progression without something collaborating with art. Art and architecture, art and medicine, art and automobiles. So if you want progression, if you want development, you need to safeguard the artistic community. And I find that is the government's responsibility, the big private organizations' responsibility, because they all use art to to develop and progress and even to make profits. And I feel at this time when things seems so difficult for the community, I feel everybody should come together to contribute in whatever way they can to safeguard the interests of uh, the artistic individuals and the community as a whole, and not just expect that one individual to handle the burden of this kind of situation all by themselves. And that's a huge task, a huge mental task, and it has its own adverse effect on the individual, and that is something that I feel can be handled better. Otherwise, we will remain non-essential as how it is seen right now.
If you could give advice to aspiring artists, what would it be?
See, if you're a young person and the art bug has bit you, everything artistic is beautiful, and then you find happiness and meaning in being part of an artwork and creating artwork. It's exciting, yes, but it will test you. It will test you in so many ways, and to survive that is all that matters, believe me. And that's about time. And see, all we can give is time. All we have is time. If you're a living creature, all you have is just time. And if you're giving something that precious to something, you need to be extremely honest and sincere towards it. And that honesty and sincerity is extremely important. And put both your feet into that boat, and not each foot in a different boat. You know what I mean? And the boats will go in different directions. It's a good way to achieve a nice side split, but that's not where you want to be.
Thank you so much for joining and sharing your thoughts with us. For more interview series, regular classes, performances and workshops, do follow Kalagrantha, the after page. Thank you.